I was looking especially for women judges, and she was one of the people that I thought would be ready to be appointed to the bench. And obviously I spoke to her and encouraged her to make herself available, and during the interviews she interviewed well, and if I may say so, because the deliberations within the GSC are confidential, but I obviously was one of the people who felt that she had interviewed well, and I supported her candidature, and in that's the role that I played. But in the end, of course, it was the JSC which took the decision, but as the head of that court, I made my views heard about her readiness.
You were effectively her boss for
Correct,
another
yes.
14 years.
Correct, yes.
How did she perform? What sort of a person was she to work with? To be with?
She is a calm person, not easily excitable, who takes her work very, very seriously. And she has that character, good character of being a judge. She's a very patient person. She has a very deep listening capacity in a calm manner. She's able to deal with people who come before her, whether they're big or small, rich or poor, literate or otherwise. She has the ability to treat people well, and she has that capacity to understand human beings and humanity. That is what I like about her.
I hesitate to ask this question, but I want you to take it hopefully the right way, bearing in mind I'm a foreigner. I've been on the outside looking in on South Africa and
Yes.
watching its history, going from apartheid to democracy and positive discrimination and affirmation and trying to be more equal in its society. How much do you think her colour helped her and might influence her in her rulings?
In generally in doing cases?
Yes.
I if anything at all, I think and I hope the influence would be a positive one. I should imagine, I'm just thinking loud now, I should imagine that she would have realized that she was one of the first black judges to be appointed as judges. That in itself places a lot of responsibility on her, because she would say to herself, there may be people who may doubt my abilities simply as a result of the color of my skin. Now, I want to prove them wrong. So in that sense, that kind of realization would have an impact on her work. But as I said, in a positive way, she would feel inspired to say, I can't afford to fail because I'm a black person. If I fail, some critics will say, aha, we told you, black people would not be able to do this. So that would not have been irrelevant entirely in her thinking. I said that would be the first point. The second one would be also that she was a woman, one of the first women to be appointed. There again, a similar, she would feel a similar responsibility or obligation vis-a-vis, this time around, not vis-a-vis black people, but this time around vis-a-vis other women, black and white. And then she would say to herself, I'm one of the first women to be appointed judges of the High Court in this country, and I can't let women down.
Can I ask about this case? I know you don't want to talk specifically, but the Oscar Pistorius murder trial is very different to any other case there's been in South Africa, and that it's been broadcast live. How do you think a person like Judge Masipa would have been able to cope with that, has been able to cope with that?
I have no doubt in my mind that to her, even though you say that it's a peculiar case because of the fact that it's being broadcast live, I've no doubt in my mind that to her it was an ordinary case. Let me say this to you. After you asked for my interview, I phoned her because I was told that she was going to give judgment shortly before the day on which you proposed to broadcast this. So I was uncomfortable about that closeness of these two events. And I asked her whether I could come for this interview. You know what she said to me? She said to me, to her that is neither here nor there. And in fact, she says to me, since she started doing this trial, she reads no newspapers, she watches no TV, so it's neither here nor there.